Now you have to have a pretty, not a big sub, but you have to have a sub in your studio to kind of hear the difference in this. If you have just headphones on, it's really hard to hear the difference in how this works, because this kind of helps you. It helps the bass be felt more than heard. So if you have a sub in your studio, you'll definitely hear the difference when I'm adjusting this up and down. I can hear the difference, especially when you go up and down the frequency here. So let's keep it at 65. This is, like I said, it adds harmonics to the bass, gives a little bit of warmth, and I like to add that right after the compressed signal. And then we're gonna bring in the non-linear summer here. And like I said, this is a summing plugin from Waves. A summing plugin, basically, like in analog mixing consoles, you have a bunch of different tracks being fed into one machine. So that machine, the console, it's responsible for taking all those separate tracks and then squeezing them into one printed audio file, one stereo file, basically. This helps achieve that, basically. So you can think of it kind of like a compressor when you're kind of just gluing everything together, but summing is basically, like I said, like with math, you're summing what is the sum of the problem. So in math, it would be when you add up a bunch of numbers, what is the sum? In music and audio, it's when you add up a bunch of signals from different sources, what is your sum? Like the sum is the overall final signal of all the other separate tracks and signals combined. This plugin basically just helps out it make it sound more cohesive, basically. So it's a little something that I put on. We could try to see if you hear a difference with it or without it. So you basically start the plugin and then adjust the drive to your taste. Okay, let's go into the next one here, which is one knob fatter. Like I said, this just adds a bunch of saturation to the low end. This one you can hear the difference, especially if you have a sub. I always find 3 is a good number to use, but you can try out whatever number you want. So like I said, it makes I can hear it in the kick, obviously, because the kick has all the bass in this track. So it just makes it more punchy, and like I said, or like the label says, more fatter. So one knob is always a key that I would put in all of my tracks. Next is the Maserati GRP, and I think that stands for group. Yeah, it does. It stands for group. So this is, like I said before, it's a 3-band EQ, I believe, along with a compressor, and then you just simply adjust the sensitivity parameter. Sorry, I couldn't even zoom off the screen there. So this is the sensitivity parameter, and you basically adjust the parameter up and down as you see fit for your track. It's meant for groups, like you would throw this on a group of drums, say, so to speak. You would put on a group rack, and it kind of helps the drum sound a little bit more cohesive, glued together. It's just, I find it sounds, when I use that sensitivity knob and I put it on the master rack, it just sounds a lot more crispy, clean, beefy. Now I want to push this up until I get the orange going. So you can hear the difference. It gives it a little more aggression in the mid-range to higher end here. And then finally we have our limiter, our L2, trusty or tried and true. Now I'm hitting some serious volume right here, and it's not really letting it go above the ceiling, which is 0. However, it is important to note that I'm not getting any attenuation here going on or also known as gain reduction. You're not seeing any gain reduction going on here. So it's not squashing the signal a lot. It's capping it off at 0, but if I saw a serious amount of gain reduction going on here, and there's a lot of orange bouncing down on this meter, I would start doing adjustments to see that reduced to a little bit to none, basically. And then you can see once we add the limiter on, we get our full readout of -6 loops here. And then you can also see in Ableton, I start clipping immediately when I press play. So that's what, that's why you want a limiter always as the last chain or the last link in your mastering chain. It just prevents you from clipping, and it prevents the signal from going above whatever ceiling you want or that you're setting it at. Now it's already hidden. I have no more room left to kind of adjust. That's because I scooted this guy up. As opposed to basically scooting this guy up. I'd rather use this parameter than this parameter because it just, I want the affected signal to be emphasized more than boosting the signal before all of this comes into play. You just get a better result, I find. And if you still aren't hitting the volume that you want after you adjust all of these and then you're finally at your limiter and you have plenty of room to work with here, you can use the limiter if you want to bring in some more volume by adjusting the threshold here, or just push it from any one of these that has a volume control on it. For instance, if I had more volume left, this is where I would bring up my Kramer and then boost this until I'm hitting the -7, -6, as long as it still sounds good too. That's important. Always use your ear first as the main reference rather than just a visual representation.